Yeah,
Anthony?
Anthony.
And there's been a propensity for municipalities and state governments to take public infrastructure and lease it to private entities. This is as much a question probably for the legislators in this room as for yourself. Would it be possible to make a condition of this new tax that the state would vow to not place any of its infrastructure in the form of long-term leases or outright sales to private entities?
Gina does not like this idea.
All right, you're right.
No, I mean more like the roads. Once
Yeah.
once you have a revenue stream, your
Right,
tolls.
right.
You know, it's easy to just say, okay, this offshore bank just came in and they're going to give us, you know, $400 billion to plug this deficit,
Yeah.
and you know we don't own it for the next
It
40
sounds pretty
years.
good, and then you get, then you lose control of the public.
Chicago's done a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll come back to it.
Thank
you. Gina and Anthony and John, because this goes back to a reform. I think there is a place for public-private partnerships, and we have authorized we would authorize in our bill the agency to pursue them. Now, the first order of priority is non-core assets. So the service stations on the turnpike, in the service areas on the turnpike, we have put those out to bid already. And if the market is right and we get a good price, then we take that money and pay down the debt. So we wouldn't use it to fill an operating deficit. We'd use it to reduce debt. We have looked, with the help of some financial folks, at the turnpike as the way Chicago did with the Skyway and so forth. I'm not sure that's right for us, to tell you the truth. Even if the market were better, and I don't think the market's that good for those deals right now, I'm not sure that's so right for us. Maybe for reasons that are behind your question, because everybody know what we're talking about, by the way? Anybody not know what we're talking about? What Chicago did or Indiana has done? You don't? No. So Chicago, I think, leased a toll road for 90 years or whatever it was, 99 years, got a big check. Indiana has leased or sold their turnpike, their toll road, and got a big check. Or have they done it, or they're trying to? They've done it. And what has happened in every one of those situations, and what's been a part of the deal, is pretty steep toll increases to make the economics work for the entity that bought the. I'm not sure that's right for us, as I say. So I think we have to be willing to look. We have to give the agency the authority to consider what's out there, what things may come, particularly around non-core assets. And by non-core, I mean, I'll give an example of the T owns property, where there are no trains, there are no storage shelters, they just own the property. Maybe they don't need to own the property, and maybe it gets sold to a developer or made into a park or something like that to again raise some capital to further reduce the debt. I just think the entities have to have enough space to do that.
That's certainly prudent. I think my consternation in a deal like in Chicago is that you're taking it's not surplus property.
Right.
You're taking a viable part of the infrastructure that people are using every day that were paid for with public funds.
Right.
And typically they're being sold or leased for 99 years.
Right.
And but the benefit of that infrastructure isn't following to successive generations. It's plugging a budget gap, but it's being, I'm sure Chicago is going to be through spending the money that they received from that a long time before that lease expires. And it's really my concern about taking viable infrastructure that we've all paid for that should last us into the future and surrendering it for immediate gratification.
Yeah.
This point, Governor, is exactly why you need to think about it as one Commonwealth. Because what happened in Chicago is people who live in Chicago weren't using the Skyway, but the city of Chicago owned the road. So those dollars came out of the road and went into Mayor Daley's budget. The voters aren't using the road. You got to think about everybody when we do this, and that's why That's why we're concerned about these solutions for us. You're thinking about one commonwealth.
Can I just add that I think that I would not support any of these kinds of leases or sales or so on with the proceeds used for operating reasons. I think that's just bad management. If the proceeds are used to pay down the debt, for capital, that's a different story. But even then, the considerations that you raised are important.
Thank you.
Thank you.